let's say you get in line, you wait in line for however long, you get your food, you sit down, you're eating, and you're like, I want another rack of ribs or another drink. And our runners, bussers will have a terminal where you don't even need to get up. And we're also talking about doing the QR codes on the tables where you can just order from your phone.
I was going to say, do you think takeout will still be a big part of your program regardless?
Huge. We're also fortunate in the fact that we're sandwiched in between two microbreweries that are brand new, one of which serves no food. Partnering with them, they're going to have a QR code on their tables where people can go online and go right into our system and place an order and either have it dropped off to them or they can come and pick it up and they'll get a text when it's ready. So, it's about definitely being an entrepreneur and thinking outside the box and having lots and lots of backup plans, especially right now. I mean, we have we have plan A, B, C, D, and E and more to come because you just have to right now. We're going to do, have live music, but probably not right away, because of all this stuff. So, it's just a lot of those things to keep in mind, from a safety standpoint.
Yeah, I was just about to say, what about as a diner? I mean, in terms of somebody going to pick a restaurant or a place to go out to eat, what do you think are the things that people need to tune into? And what you talked about food safety being a big, important part of what you're doing. I mean, how do you assure people that you're doing everything that you can? And what should a diner look for when they're thinking about where to go? Because some people have done a great job. Others have, I was at a place where I was getting takeout and I kid you not, the gal, in between helping people was taking bites of her food. I'm like,
stop it.
Who's watching?
That's like pre-COVID crap. That's a no-no right there. I mean, I think that, and that's to your point. I mean, I think it's always been some, things to watch for. It's like, I'm sure we've all been to the restaurant where you go to the restroom and there's the server in the restroom, at least in the men's room, with his apron hiked up at the urinal. It's gross. And so, but, now it's obviously those things, but face shields, masks, gloves, our staff, is everybody washing their hands? Is there sanitizer out? All those things, do you visibly see management checking in staff with a temperature gun? Things like that are things that I'd be looking for sure. In some places, our place is wide open, so not every place. Obviously, the back of house is very separate from the front of house, but you can really, really tell with just how people interact. How staff's interacting with each other. How close are they getting to tables? Like you said, are they dropping food off the table and picking up their mask and doing this and then going back and grabbing another plate of food? Yeah. It's things like that. And, unfortunately, it becomes a distraction for a diner to have to look out for these things, but you kind of have to, and like you said, there's definitely, we've always called them moments of truth in a restaurant business where, anytime a guest has the opportunity to form an opinion about the experience. And that could be, the valet peeling off in your car. It could be, the host walking inside from the patio and not holding the door for you. It's all things like that. And now there's just all these other things to tack onto that list. And, it makes us as restaurant owners and entrepreneurs, we have to be more responsible and we have to take good care of our staff and make sure that they're safe. And I feel like, I always, everything comes down from the top. So if we're taking good care of our staff, they're going to take good care of our guests, on all levels, not just from a hospitality standpoint, from a safety standpoint, and, you can drive it home as much as you want and talk about SOPs and this and that. But if it's not coming from the top and as far as from setting an example, it's not worth anything. So,
and people have, if they weren't sharing on Yelp, before. I mean, I just feel like they're going to take every opportunity to just
Absolutely.
be more, vocal or critical, because people are sensitive right now anyways. So, from your perspective, what is the message that you would like to send to diners who are coming into your restaurant or other restaurants, that might be different than a message you would have sent, 9 months ago?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would say it's. I can only really speak for my own restaurant. That are as a guest, as a diner, as a guest, even a delivery driver that's coming in from Uber Eats or something to take food out. They have to be safe too. We have to make sure that they're safe as well. And I think that. Just knowing that our organization, we take it very seriously. I can only speak for us. And, the group I was working with, they take it incredibly seriously. And we while I was still there, we were working on putting a lot of new SOPs in place and writing a lot of safety procedures and whatnot. Typically in restaurants, you have a sanitizer bucket with quat or chlorine sanitizer and a towel, and everything is going more towards one-use disposable sanitizer towels, things like that. And some of these things are they're an investment, I mean, they're not super expensive, but it's an investment and it's something different and it's a change. But you have to change, and you have to implement and be the change so that everybody in the restaurant will follow suit, it's just a mindset. It's a mindset. The mindset is hopefully always in a restaurant where you want your goal as an advocate for the restaurant, whether it be as a server, a cook, a dishwasher, whoever, is to want the guests to have the best possible experience every time they come in, right? And now add to that the best possible, safest experience as well.
Yeah,
And
I feel definitely for myself. I mean, they just started, I live in Ventura County, and they just started opening up restaurants not too long ago to dine in. And I was actually at one today with my daughter, and, I'm always aware, but I'm definitely much more hyper aware now. And I think the big thing for me is to really take care of your servers, take care of the people that are serving you and taking care of you, because it's hard enough. And now I just feel like that added pressure on them makes it that much harder. So I'm tipping more. I'm much more, I'm always courteous to servers, because when you work in the food industry, you always, that's what you do. But I would just add too that for people going out, like, be a little patient, things are different.
There's more steps.
Yeah.
We're all taking more steps to get from point A to point B now. And people need to be understanding of that. I agree 100%. And hopefully they are being understanding,
Do you think this is the new normal for the foreseeable future, just as far as how we're going to need to take baby steps and understand when closures happen, because whatever is happening with COVID, things are taking a step backward? I mean, what can we do as diners and patrons and people wanting to support our restaurants, places like your restaurant? What do we need to do?
I mean, if there's closures and there's an opportunity to support the restaurants via takeout and delivery, I would say do that. And it's a tough one. That's a tough question to answer, because how much can you actually do? If everything's shut down, how much can you really do? So it's kind of like do what you can. And, one of those things is to support local businesses that way, because the local businesses are the ones that are hurting right now.
Well, like with you said you're doing your classes, or is that still ongoing? Mm-hmm. How can we support your classes?
So I am currently I have classes booked we're doing a Thanksgiving class and a Christmas class through it's a website called 100pleats pleats.com. And it's a chef, Franklin Becker, started it out of New York. and involved me and a handful of other chefs. And so we've been doing these classes. They've been more like one-on-one sort of classes or groups, kind of buying a class together. This is more of a go on and schedule yourself into it. There may or may not be a very well-known surprise musical guest on the Thanksgiving one. It's not confirmed, so I'm not going to speak about it, but there could be something very cool happening on that class. But they're fun classes because you get to actually cook, and you're not just sitting there watching.
Yeah.
Or if you want to just sit there and watch, you can sit there and watch. But, I think that, to take a class and be able to follow along is kind of a cool thing. And then in Vegas with the Secret Burger program, I'm doing Thanksgiving dinners with smoking turkeys, and doing a couple of my barbecue sides, along with, we're going to do glazed sweet potatoes with homemade maple marshmallow. We're going to do buttered green beans and crispy onions. Some of the basics just done really well and a little bit unique. And then partnering with a young lady here who's a pastry chef, and she's been doing a pie pop-up called Poppin' Pies. So she's going to do my pies. Those are ways to support the others. And the really great thing, one of the greatest things about the Vegas restaurant community is it is so supportive. I've never seen a community this supportive, where every chef that I've come across is supportive of everybody's supportive of each other. They come to the events, they come to the pop-ups, they take each other's classes, they are there if you need anything, and invite, and it makes you want to be a part of a community. It's really nice.
That's awesome. I think that's a lesson that we can all take for sure.
Hell yeah.
Whether you're a restaurateur, whether you're whatever business you might own, or just being a good person and just being kind and understanding and thoughtful.
Well, I mean, and at the end of the day, just on the grand scale of all of this, we're all in this together. And, if I feel for people that have lost their jobs, I lost my job, and not for very long. I'm somebody that's always been able to get back on his feet and make something great happen. And I just have a lot of practice hustling. And so it's definitely working in my favor at this moment. And, we're really excited to get Soul Belly open, hopefully February-ish. But even the city here, I mean, the city, as far as from a planning standpoint, they're all so supportive of getting the restaurants open.
Yeah.
Which is something I'm just not used to.
Well, it's a great thing to see. And I'm so glad that, Soul Belly is on track to open, that you're able to turn the situation around and create something new and exciting to look forward to. And you're priming the pump, so to speak, and getting the food out there and getting people ready. I'm excited. I am a barbecue girl. I know I'm all about clean eating, but good barbecue, that's my cheat.
Good barbecue is pretty clean.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Good brisket is beef, salt, pepper, and smoke.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing else. There's you got the residual grease, the meat grease.
Well, you were talking about the smoked turkeys, and I was getting really excited. So a question that I ask every guest, and I want to ask you this: if you could have any meal prepared by anybody, what would it be?
Oh, that's a tough question.
And who would make it?
I would have to say, and I know this is going to sound pretty basic, but a margarita pizza from Chris Bianco. Because I miss when I'm good friends with Chris. So like whenever I am able to sneak into Phoenix, I drove to Phoenix a month and a half ago to pick up the smoker I bought. And I was there, literally went there, picked up the smoker and drove back. But in the midst of all of that, I went to Ponte Bianco and hung out with Chris and got a bite.
What is it about his margarita pizza that you think is so extraordinary?
It's just amazing. I mean, it's everything about it. It's the simplicity of it. I've gotten... he and I have become good friends, and the more I love speaking with him, because he is about simplicity and about using amazing ingredients to make something. If you start with amazing ingredients, it's really hard to make something bad. he once said to me, he's like, the best ingredient is the one that you leave off the plate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's true.
Being sparing is the sign of